Power World and Pokemon. Two relatively huge titles, relatively huge games that have been fighting in the legal system for almost a year at this point, has now escalated to something completely different. Two new patents passed by the Patent Office here in America just a couple weeks ago. One, I believe, on the 2nd of September, the other one on the 9th or 10th of this month. So the ramifications on one of those is pretty huge. The other one, not as significant. But again, this boils down to Power World versus Pokemon. Are the creators of Power World infringing on the copyright or the patent laws that have already been passed by Nintendo? Had they been passed before Power World came into existence? Were they passed after the fact? What are the legal ramifications of that, of this ongoing litigation? I'll put this out there right away. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I'm just kind of here on the peripheral seeing what's going on. I've been a player of Pokemon. I've not played Power World, and I had the same reaction most of everyone else kind of had. It's like, this looks very similar to Pokemon. I don't know. This is probably what freaked Nintendo out, because Power World, I believe, has surpassed 20 million copies, so they're owning a pretty big chunk of the market away from Nintendo. And this goes even deeper, whether or not Nintendo needs to do this. Are they being a little bit too petty? Are they just not comfortable with having a direct competitor to Pokemon with Power World? Who's to say? But the major focus of today's video is going to be on these two new patents that just got passed way after this debacle has started, and whether or not they're going to affect the ongoing litigation between both games. But before we get into that, be sure to like the video if you guys like it, and be sure to sub for more. Post videos every day, Monday through Friday at about 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, PM, and we stream on Saturdays, 9 in the morning. So let's get into a little bit. We got an article posted from Games Radar, and I've got a few other articles I'll be jumping to here and there, and also 2 articles from Games Fray that have more legal stuff. I believe they're headline at the top of the page is in-depth reporting and analytical commentary on gaming, on the games industry and related regulatory issues. No legal advice, but after seeing what's going on here, I think I might hit up their website a little bit more often for stuff like this. So we'll get into the Games Radar article. As the Power World lawsuit rambles on, Nintendo claims 2 new patents that could change the way non-Pokemon creature collectors work for good. Not necessarily creature collectors, but the ramifications on one of them, the 394 patents that we'll get into a little bit, could have much wider ramifications for the larger gaming market, and I think you guys will see what'll happen there. And all depends on whether or not judges and the legal system are actually going to do anything with this or completely throw them out. Apparently, it is very difficult for the patent office to, I guess, own up to the fact that one of their patents may not have been adequately examined before passing it. Apparently, it's a very difficult process to undo a patent, but we'll see what happens after the fact. But again, we cannot underestimate, and that's the huge reason why I'm making this video about this. Again, I'm not a huge legal guy. It's well beyond my realm, my area of expertise amongst, the millions of other things in the world. But this is still a very huge thing to kind of bring attention to and bring awareness of, because the ramifications of this could be quite dire. So let's go ahead and get into it a little bit. We're going to see if we can find, yes, we're looking at U.S. patent number 12,403,397. Just remember those 6 numbers, the 12 million, not so much, because it goes in order from 1 to whatever patent we're at right now, but 43397, that is the one specifically we're looking at. There is a 387, 409, 46387 that we'll look at too, but that one's less of an issue. It's more this one. So effectively, in a situation includes those two things, oh, wait, hold on. What it covers standing in the console, PC, game, and storage device. Oh, right. PC in a game on any storage device, because it goes as in-depth as to the software located on the drive of a device. Like, it goes very much to the nitty-gritty. And the 2 Games Fray articles that we got pulled up, one I think we'll look at, but I'll link the other one as well, because they're both pretty relevant. It goes down to like the flow charts on how the data is not only stored, but how it processes logically from player inputs to the actual execution of the software. It's actually pretty crazy, like how much depth you need, but it makes sense. So if the situation includes those 2 things previously stated, a character that can move within a virtual field space, a summonable sub-character, think a Pokemon or a pal, and an enemy character that's present within the area that the so-called sub-character is summoned into a fight, that scenario cannot effectively be a Nintendo exclusive. Think, and let me know in the comments down below what games you think this might hit. But effectively, you're talking about you controlling a character that can summon a sub character that will do whatever. It'll just wander around if it's got nothing to do. I think this goes on. The patent apparently applies even if there is no enemy character to battle immediately, further complicating the patent, further broadening the wordage or the ramifications of this patent. But nonetheless, you, a character, controlling a character, can then summon a sub character, or I don't even know. Yeah, a character that you can move within virtual space. So the original character and then the sub character. Immediately, that's a million games, right? You can think of Final Fantasy and summoning one of those characters, or one of anything in that. You can think. Hell, even World of Warcraft, you're playing a hunter, and then you're summoning your pets to go attack something or not attack, just standing there. That affects that too. But the idea of you summoning a sub character, quote unquote, sub character, whatever, and it can either just stand there stationary or wait for combat to happen, is what this patent is outlining in trying to render control of for Nintendo, which again is just so wild to think about that Nintendo. And again, it's hard to say whether or not they want to do this as a very petty move against Power World in trying to really fight them on the fact that they've taken up so much of the market share. Like, again, we're talking 20 plus million units. I'm not sure how many copies of Power World have been sold, but still, it's just like, why? What's the impetus for it? And it begs the question, should a judge completely throw this out based on how wide range this is? A lot of, because I looked up a couple of videos, and a lot of people are saying it's like the people who are running the patent office, and this goes probably all the way to, possibly the judge running this, all the legal teams that are understanding this, is like no one understands like how huge this is, how many games get affected by this. So many studios would probably hark back at Nintendo being like, you can't control that patent. You can't make a patent about that. Like, I feel like everyone right now is incentivized to be like, Nintendo, this is way too much. And then what's that going to do? Is that going to require all the other AAA studios to be like, well, if you're going to do this, I got to do something too. Like, this is such a core gameplay mechanic in so many games. It's like, I need to protect something of my own. And then one of the videos pointed out, it's like, what if Activision Blizzard were to patent the idea, like, you want to talk old school Warcraft with skill trees and whatnot. So many games have skill trees, or even the concept of XP and leveling. Like, how far back we want to go on this? Could or should game developer studios be able to patent something so fundamentally experienced in a lot of these games? And then what's that going to do to the gaming market as a whole? It's going to stifle the ever living crap out of everyone. Like, what we know and experience in a lot of these video games that do cross-pollinate, like, that's honestly what it is. There is cross-pollination with so many genres and games that have created so many awesome and different experiences that we honestly needed. And you could look at something like a battle royale. Like, so many battle royales are so similar, it's actually kind of funny, but they're their own thing. We all can tell the difference between one and the others, and plenty of us like to moan and complain about games are a carbon copy of one another. Like, I remember when Overwatch was new, people were just like, what was the Steam game? You guys know what I'm talking about. Like, just copy games, copying copies. But it's like they're so different. They're so different from one another. Everyone's got their own interpretation of a certain genre, and they can throw their own spin onto it. And that just broadens the amount of games that we're allowed to, not allowed to, but just broadens the amount of potential for the marketplace. Like, it's huge. It's fantastic. So the ramifications of this particular one are just kind of wild, kind of crazy. And yeah, I didn't even realize like how crazy this lawsuit between Power World and Nintendo has been. Apparently they're fighting, and I want to pull up this second article, but I need to take a look at and see, or maybe it wasn't this one. Hold on, let me find, because right, apparently, let's take a look at this bit right here, the new patent in question. So the original lawsuit came down to a couple core gameplay mechanics that Power World were using, but by the time Power World already came into existence, Nintendo tried to file patents after the fact to, I guess, thwart them from becoming a fully fledged game or to recover damages, one or the other. And I just can't help but feel, and that's what I think these articles are also pointing out, and probably the legal teams as well, is that you can't just summon a patent after the fact, right? You can't just bring a patent into existence after something has already came into the world and started taking up your market share. Like, sorry, the ship has already sailed. You can't do anything about it. But the new patent in question, which you can view on the U.S. Patent and Trademark Official Office site, was published yesterday after being filed back in July last year, and it ties back via patent technicalities called divisions and continuations. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. Be sure to let me know in the comments down below whether or not this is legitimate. To a December 2021 parent patent. So they're trying to tie back one new patent to an old one, and then that's sort of retroactively affecting the game to help them in litigation. It's like, you're doing something after the fact that there's no way. Like, just logically, and honestly, ethically, that doesn't sound like a thing. Games Fray, which is we're going to hit up next, reports back in 2021 parent is the same one that the two divisional parents in the actual Japanese Power World lawsuits tie into. So yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy to think that you can bring something after the fact into it to kind of help your case, if that's exactly what it is. It seems absolutely silly, and it seems a little bit of an abuse of not only the patent office but the legal system. So we're gonna go and jump over to Games Fray because I want to point out the two new patents that were just recently pushed through by the patent office, and I want to point out that these particular patents were not. They were not deterred. They were not scrutinized. That'd be a better word to say. They were not effectively examined enough to see if it had any potential issues, which of course they have, especially 403.397, that has huge issues for the rest of the gaming market. Less so the other one. The other one that got passed was 409.387, and this one was related to the smooth switching of writing objects, which is mounts. And I think the smoothness of it is what Nintendo's trying to capture in their patent, not mounts in general. I think it had to do with the automatic nature of how they were doing the smooth switching of writing objects. Objects is an interesting word, but regardless, the smooth switching of writing objects is what they're trying to patent. And I think the way to get around that, at the very least, if necessary, is just more button inputs in other games to summon it, maybe another button to get on it, get off of it, stuff like that. So less of an issue. Again, still a silly thing to patent, I think. But and then, you know, some of the patents that they were trying to pass after the fact, after Power World came into existence, would be the Pokeball mechanic, which I think is a relatively huge one to kind of patent, and that made quite a bit more sense to patent because that's very Pokemon. Anyone summons a thing with the ball, and as someone pointed out, Final Fantasy kind of has that similar aspect. It's just there's so much cross-pollination between these games, you just cannot really separate too many of them. Like, the ship has sailed for the gaming market forever ago. So whether or not the patent office should do this, let alone any judge be willing to enforce it, provided that they know what they're talking about. Like, them in the patent office being able to do this without having any prior knowledge on how the gaming market actually works, it could be the entire reason why these got pushed through. It was just complete and utter ignorance. So, but again, guys, the 397 one is just huge, and the ramifications cannot be understated. Like, being able to do what that patent is trying to protect, again, you know, be sure to let me know in the comments down below what games immediately came to your mind about you controlling a character and then you summoning a sub character that will or will not be in combat, all depending on whether or not there is something in your area to fight. There's so many games like that, especially just the summoning and NPCs, and the player having, I guess, loose control or major control over that NPC. Hard to say. If you're playing an RTS like StarCraft, Warcraft 3, one of those, Age of Empires, you have a bunch of summoned, and then what does it mean by summoned? I don't know. Like I said, these Game Fray articles have the actual documentation on the patents, and they have the, like I said, the flow charts. Let me show you. So that's 387. This is 397. Let's scroll down a little bit. We got the console here, and it's got all the bits and pieces of it. It's got pictures on exactly how it looks. Like, it's actually kind of wild. But the flow charts, like, look at this. Sub character control processing, target movement instruction. Yes. Is there a select target? No. Is there a target object in range? And then just yada, 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 on and on. Like, it goes to as much in depth as humanly possible, virtually possible, about the processes of the sub character. So if you guys want to take a look at that, by all means, knock yourselves out. I will leave a link to all the stuff that I'm using down below. You guys are more than welcome to hop over and check it out. But again, the ramifications, and even the ramifications of controlling this level of, or I guess this detail of the logic systems, it's like, what are you expecting from the rest of the gaming community to do, the developer community especially, to try to circumvent your patent just so they have more control over this kind of stuff? Like, I don't know what this would do, especially if it gets passed. The ball will then forever be in Nintendo's court, whether or not they want to sue anyone who's doing too well with whatever type of game that they're doing. And if they can control all of this, especially that flow chart, exactly how it is, bro, I don't know what happens after that. Again, not a legal expert, definitely not a game dev. I'm just observing this from the outside, but it's still nonetheless a huge thing for us to be aware of, because this could have, like I said, the entire video, this could have dire ramifications for the gaming market as we know it. And this is stifling in both areas. This is hugely stifling for the AAA studios, and this is a completely just, I feel like this is a vast overreach. Again, be sure to let me know your opinion in the comments. This is a vast overreach by Nintendo that should be shot down immediately and should not have passed through the patent office day one. If anyone with any gaming knowledge or whatever looked at that and be like, dude, I'm going to crumple this up and throw it over my shoulder. No shot. No shot. But this has issues, or this has ramifications also in the indie market. It's like, who's going to want to push a new game project that could potentially infringe on patent law, could infringe on the patent control by Nintendo, who notoriously comes after people? So I don't know. I don't know what happens here. It's just a huge thing to pay attention to, because again, the ramifications cannot be understated. So with that, dudes, I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching the video today and watching all the videos that I posted thus far. We are 3 weeks into us uploading a video Monday through Friday at about 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All depends if the upload is on schedule and all that stuff. So far so good. I'm enjoying these videos. The reception so far has been pretty good in terms of viewership, in terms of likes, a few comments here and there, and then the the impressions are growing a little bit, and depending on some videos, because I know the topics of some are not one-to-one carbon copies, but the concept of these videos is what I'm actually kind of enjoying. I'm paying attention to a lot more stuff going on in the gaming sector of life, so it's been nice. It's been very eye-opening for me to pay attention to a lot of this other stuff. So if you guys have been enjoying the videos, be sure to give me a like, be sure to sub if you guys haven't subbed yet, and be sure to leave me a comment. You know, there's no fear in doing it. And yeah, dude, so we will be back on tomorrow morning for a stream, 9 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. I think what we're gonna do is some Deadlock. We were having issues with Kingdom Come Deliverance last weekend, and I think that's just a game I'm gonna play off stream. But yeah, I'm not going to be on for too long tomorrow. I am doing something a little bit later in the day, but we'll still nonetheless probably push for like a 3-ish hour stream. So if you guys are down to hang out tomorrow, you guys will know where I'll be on the channel, 9 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. Love to see you guys come in and kicking in the chat. So be sure to sub, and yeah, I will see you guys next Monday for another video. You guys have a good rest of your Friday. Have a good weekend. If I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow otherwise, or see you Monday. Until then, guys, you guys have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend. Until then, I will see you guys later.